Hello, I'm Anthony David Hobbs, and this is going to be the review of Night of the Living Dead, the 1968 original film, because they did a remake years later. Oh, but before I start the review properly, I'm just a little thing I'd like to say about zombies in general. Yes, there are many, many zombie films, but Night of the Living Dead was the first really successful zombie film. There had been zombie films before, but this one had the biggest impact, yeah. And well, it's hard to define what a zombie is. You see, in ancient African mythology, you could get like a voodoo magician, and he'd raise a dead body out of the ground, and he'd put a spell on it and control it with his magic, the way you control a remote control toy, and get his zombie to go and do an assassination mission. And he can't be killed because he's already dead, so he's indestructible. Yeah. However, in Europe, the legend of the zombie had a very different origin. Basically, one man claimed to have seen a zombie in a graveyard, and he said it was a man that had, well, you could almost see the outline of all his bones. You know, he's almost skeletal because he's so skinny. It's a dead body that's come to life, and it feeds off the dead in the graves. Oh, it's disgusting. It's horrific. It's a supernatural spirit. Now, eating dead flesh out of a grave, yes, that is totally disgusting and completely illegal. However, this is how the legend originated. It wasn't a zombie at all, no. It was like the Middle Ages in Europe, and there was, some peasants were taxed so heavily that they couldn't even eat properly. They were dying of starvation because the king or queen would tax them much too much money. So desperate for food, in fact, that some peasants are almost skeletal because they're, dying of malnutrition. They're that desperate they'd eat rotting flesh, yeah. Well, by that logic, these zombies, or metaphoric zombies that ate dead flesh, are they monsters? Or is it the king or the queen that's a monster because he or she would tax the people much too much money and make them lose their humanity in order to survive? Yes, who's the real monster here? Yeah. Is it the peasants or the leader that's the monster? Yeah. Anyway, in other words, zombies are part of folklore, part of culture in countries all over the world, yeah. Now, Night of the Living Dead, I'd heard that name. Yes, I knew of it a long time before I saw it, yeah. And I assumed we'd see a scene where loads of dead bodies rise out of the graves, and come after people. No, they couldn't do a scene like that for budgetary reasons. Yes, it was on a small budget, and yes, when I finally did get round to seeing it, I think I was about 21. I saw it on TV, and I thought, why is it black and white? All movies were colour by 1968. Even really small budget films were in colour by 1968. The Carry On films were on very small budgets, but they were in colour by the late 60s. All movies were in colour. Yeah, this is so old-fashioned even for the time. But then I put two and two together and realised it's a very small budget film. And some of the music sounds quite old-fashioned, even for the time, like something out of the mid-50s, yeah. And that, I found out later, that's because it is. A lot of the music is music from either TV shows or films from the late 50s, early 60s, because to compose new music takes time, and time is money. They didn't have the time, yeah. So that's why, but, yeah, what's wrong with that? It works, yeah. A bit like Pulp Fiction. None of the music in that is original, but it works. Each bit of music works for each scene, yeah. And originally, Night of the Living Dead was going to be about like a comedy, lots of aliens that come and attack people in a comedic way, but they didn't have the budget, yeah. So it was originally meant to be a comedy, but then became a serious horror film. Hey, that's the exact opposite of Gremlins. The movie Gremlins was originally going to be a serious horror film, then they made it comedic, a comedy horror instead. Well, anyway, this is the other way around. They decided to go for a serious film. And, okay, I'll start right at the beginning. Barbara, with her brother, they're driving to a cemetery, yes, the theme of dead people, so we see a cemetery. And they're going to, pay their respects to a relative that's died, and put some flowers or flower wreath attached to this wooden thing. And then Barbara prays. Yeah, it's because we have this connection with the dead. We're very sad when people close to us die. And, a zombie comes and attacks them. Oh, we're only about 10 minutes into the film and already a zombie attack. Oh, there's no hanging around then. Yeah, get straight to the point. Yeah. And they don't know. At first, they just think it's a crazy man attacking them. Then they realise there's something eerie and supernatural about him. Yeah, because of the way he walks. Yeah, and like he's in a kind of trance, like he doesn't have a mind of his own. Yeah. And I just said that there was no warning whatsoever. But when you see the movie a few times, like I think it was the 5th or the 6th time I saw it, in a way there is a kind of warning. Because just as Barbara and her brother were getting out of the car, there's something on the radio saying, we interrupt this radio program to give you an urgent message. And then he just turns it off because he's not interested. Had he listened, maybe he would have been warned way in advance. There's zombies on the loose, yeah. Anyway, the zombie attacks Barbara, who then her brother comes to the rescue. The zombie attacks him, bashes his head against a gravestone and kills him, yeah. Alright, so a gravestone, something that's designed to show respect to the dead, and it causes the death of this man. Oh, that's very sad, yeah. And then Barbara runs for her life. I think her shoes fall off at one point, but doesn't stop to get them because she's running for her life. Gets in the car, no key, makes it go down the hill a bit, or that'll have to do. Then gets out of the car and runs and anywhere but here, yeah. And then finally finds what looks like an abandoned farmhouse and goes in there. And something else to give you before the first zombie attack, there is a little bit of thunder roaring. Yeah, it doesn't actually rain, but there's a bit of thunder. Oh yeah, and Barbara's wearing a raincoat. Well, it's not really a raincoat. No, I think it's what they used to call a plastic mac, and they were very fashionable in the late 60s, early 70s. So it looks just like a raincoat, but it isn't. It's just something that's trendy. Yeah. That would have been useful if it had rained then, wouldn't it? Because there was a peal of thunder, yeah. Anyway, that's not the big picture. The big picture is she finds a place to hide. It closes all the door, and then Ben comes in. He's just been driving a truck really fast, comes out, runs in. He's not a zombie because he can talk. Yes, that's how you can tell the zombies from humans. The humans can talk and they scream. The zombies never scream and they don't talk at all. They sort of make this eerie grunting noise or moaning noise, yeah. Anyway, I suppose I'll just have to say this. Why are zombies scary? Well, because like vampires and werewolves, they used to be humans. They're a scary look at what we could become, yeah. I remember once when I was 10 years old, at school, obviously. Then I changed school, a new school, a year later. And at first it seemed okay, this new school. And then suddenly there were bullies everywhere. Not the odd bully now and here, everywhere. There were so many of them, increasing in such big numbers. The most horrible, most rude, most abusive bullies ever. And nobody questioned it. What the hell is going on? I questioned it. What the hell is going on here? Why is everyone turning into monsters? Yeah. And in the same way, that reminds me of in Night of the Living Dead, Barbara says, what the hell is going on? Why are all these crazy people committing mass murder? What the hell is going on? Yes, questions it. Yeah. Now, the black man called Ben, he hasn't really got time to question it. He's like, I don't know why they're killing people. I don't know. The point is, it's happening, and we've got to get it together, keep our heads screwed on, yeah. And he's trying to, barricade the room up with planks of wood. That reminds me a bit of the movie Signs, except the movie Signs came many years later. Barbara doesn't help at all. But then that's kind of the point. Everyone reacts differently in a crisis situation. She's just becomes like an invalid. She's lost her shit. And she just sort of stares into space. Yeah, and he thinks, oh, well, she's not getting in my way. So the other man, he gets on with nailing all the planks up everywhere. They listen to a radio. On the radio has the word Zenith written on it. Is that a brand name of radio? Well, anyway, the word Zenith, it has two different meanings. It means at your peak, as high as things can go. But it also means, because things have gotten as high as they can go, they're going downhill from here on in. They reach rock bottom. And yes, the story is about reaching rock bottom. It's like an apocalypse story. Yes, zombies. It could be, if there's enough of them, enough of those zombies, it could be the end of humanity. The species become extinct. Anyway, according to the radio, it's not just here, it's all over the country. These zombies are everywhere. Except they don't call them zombies. It's the definitive zombie film. No, they call them ghouls. Or mass murderers. Or things. I got afraid of those things. Yeah. Well, I guess we, the audience, know they're zombies. They just call them ghouls or things. There's loads of those things out there, hundreds of them. And then we think there's zombies that are coming out of the cellars. The two characters are terrified. No, it's some people that were hiding there all along. And Ben says, well, why didn't you come out and help us then? I need a lot of help to nail all these planks up all over the windows everywhere. And they're like, well, we didn't know. We couldn't see. How could we know? Yeah, for all we knew, it could have been a load of zombies or a load of ghouls, yeah. And they come up, and at first you think, oh, great, more people. We have more help now. No, the character called Harry Cooper, well, he's very bossy, and he's used to getting his way all the time. Well, because he's married, he's head of a family, yeah. And instead of helpful, he turns out to be more of a threat to the situation instead, yeah. So not all humans are useful. Yes, humans are a mixed blessing. Anyway, down in the cellar, there's 5 people. There's Mr. and Mrs. Cooper. They have a little girl, a daughter, who's been bitten by one of those things, so she's very ill indeed. And a young couple called Tom and Judy. And Tom is a bit torn. He doesn't know what to do. Go in the cellar or stay upstairs in the house. And Ben simply says, look, do what you want. Go in the cellar if you want. But you he says to Mr. Cooper, you may be the boss down there, but I'm the boss up here, yeah. So yes, there's a bit of conflict, at a time when you need to pull together. But again, everyone reacts differently in a crisis. In the case of Harry Cooper, he becomes more paranoid and more of a control freak than ever. That's the effect the crisis has on him, yeah. Then they watch a bit of television. They say television is a waste of time. Well, no, because it's news, nothing but news on the telly. What is causing this mass murder? Well, it doesn't clearly specify. Instead, we just get a load of theories, like are they supernatural, risen from the dead? It is called Night of the Living Dead. Is it a pandemic, a virus going everywhere? Is it of this Earth? Is it a space satellite that returned to Earth and gave this alien virus that affected everyone? And that's like a little nod to the original idea, being attacked by aliens. Or whatever it is, at first, the news says, barricade yourselves in a small building. And then afterwards, the news changes and says, no, change of plan. Get out of there as fast as you can and go to the nearest army base, a rescue centre where you'll be safe, yeah. And so in other words, the people inside the house are caught between a rock and a hard place. If we stay here and wait it out, eventually a rescue team will kill those zombies and we'll be safe. But how long's that going to be? We could have died of starvation before a rescue team comes to find us. Why don't we get out there and make a run for it? Because we'll be picked off as soon as we move. We'll be killed. You're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. Eventually, they decide, why don't we do both plans? So 3 of them decide to get in the truck, drive as fast as they can. You've got to put a lot of petrol in. There is a petrol pump there, so they put that. But because they're doing it in a hurry and they're panicking, they accidentally set fire to the truck. Judy, the girlfriend, is caught in the seatbelt. She can't get out, and of course Tom won't leave her. He has to get her out first. Ben makes a run for it, and then the whole thing blows up. Oh no! Then after that, the zombies start eating flesh. They eat raw flesh and they eat cooked flesh as well because they've been burned. Yeah, and I think one of them eats a cricket at one point. Well, they eat anything that's alive. They eat the living. Yeah, they're particularly fond of humans. Yeah, and then Ben goes in, but before he gets back in the house, Mr. Cooper shuts the door and locks it. He won't let him in. So he has to break it down and then close it. And then he goes, you'd really do that? You'd really kill me so you can get your way all the time and be the leader? What the heck is wrong with you? We're supposed to pull together, yeah. Anyway, oh yes, and Barbara's brother, he's back from the dead. Yeah, he's become one of those things. He's joined the zombies. And there's a horrible scene where the little girl becomes a zombie and stabs her mother with a trowel. There is something really eerie and really creepy about that. People that are supposed to be on your side turning against you. And spoiler alert, they're all killed except for Ben. Eventually, some rescue people with guns, they've discovered the secret. If you shoot the ghoul in the head, kill the brain, and you kill the ghoul. That's how you kill them. And then, yeah, he sees the rescue people coming. Ben gets out, and then he's shot dead. The only survivor, and he's dead. Oh no, that's horrible. So sad ending, yeah. But I suppose one of the things I admire about the story is the determination to stay alive, or stay alive for as long as you possibly can, yeah. Originally, they were going to change that scene and have at least one survivor, but George A. Romero says, no, that would ruin the point of the film. It's not a happy Hollywood ending. It's a very grueling, grim story, yeah. This is an independent film made in an independent way. Okay, thank you for watching. I'm Anthony Hobbs, and I'm never bored.